Here we are, for realsies. I think. Probably. And I switched to playing on my 360.
That explains why the footage suddenly looks a lot fuzzier.
Well, fuzzier but consistent.
Also, wow, that screen tearing. I didn't remember it being that bad.
Maybe it's just because of the capture card.
Maybe.
Time for a boss fight!
It's kind of a little bit terrifying that the Dark Presence can just, like, take over shit like that.
You would think it would do it a little bit more often. That was something more mobile than a bulldozer.
Yeah, like, for instance, one of the cars that Alan drives, it could just take over the car and be like, guess what? We're going back to the cabin.
Then that one taken. It was just hiding behind the bulldozer the whole time. Like, oh no, no, no! I also forgot to pick up the better flashlight when I was playing on the PC.
Oh.
Now I've got the heavy-duty flashlight.
I'm surprised they didn't license Maglite for that.
Now you too can be equipped like a police officer.
Beat people to death with your light-giving instrument.
It'd work great on, you know, all these things that you're using the light on.
Yeah. I think it would. Those things are pretty solid. You could definitely bludgeon somebody to death with one of them.
I had never been this glad to see the sunrise. I had a couple of hours to get to the coal mine.
The sunrise that literally just happened.
The coal mine was
Sunrise activated as soon as the cutscene started. Breathtaking view.
Do I hear passing breeze?
Yes.
Today, I would meet the kidnapper, and he would give me ass. I wouldn't give him any other choice.
I mean, radio in the truck should still work, right?
Straw.
Yeah.
Little by little, without realizing it, I'd come to believe that the story in the manuscript
Little
was
by
not
little,
true.
he says.
The current of
Right,
its narrative
as-
had taken me deeper and deeper into dark waters.
As he literally
I was
plays out
detective.
every page in real
Barry was
life.
probably in jail. I was a fugitive from the FBI.
I would have believed it, like,
Taken over by the dark
immediately
presence
as soon as,
of
like,
the
shadowy shit started happening.
Yeah. But I would have been on board and completely sold by, like, the third page.
Or at the very least, I would believe something was fucking up as soon as, I woke up in my crashed car after missing a week. Not that Alan knew he was missing a week until he got to the gas station. Because naturally his phone is dead.
Well, yeah, I hadn't been charged for a week.
Oh, well, I suppose the Dark Presence was just making him right. I think my phone's dying. Keep writing.
Yeah,
This is
basically.
Matt Main, and you're listening to KBF-FM. Folks, I want to apologize for kind of abandoning you to that looping music track last night, but I was detained. You see, I
It's just
encountered
elevator
maybe
music.
that G-man with an itchy trigger finger who could use it.
The
A lesson in manners.
the intermission music by Offspring.
Early in that order either. Now, folks, I know I'm not being very helpful here.
Intermission.
I apologize for that. I really should just keep quiet.
Do, do, do,
I'm just
do,
so
do,
peeved
do,
right
do,
now.
do,
Because
do,
some people
do.
just shouldn't be carrying badges. I'm just glad that our Sheriff Breaker...
Funny story about that.
And if someone I met last night is listening, let me just say, I'm sorry if my mouth got you in trouble. I'm pretty
Alan
sure
just
you're
sighs
the
again.
bad guy here. Godspeed, son. I hope you know what you're doing. Now, on a lighter note, I'll be talking to Dr. Nelson all morning. But first, a little music.
Here, have another looping music track. Well, I mean, I suppose it is still a radio station. Still,
Oh, yeah.
still have to play music. I wonder what that radio station actually plays.
Probably like easy listening bullshit.
Well, small town local radio station, most likely. Like, they never have any of the radios. Well, actually, no, I think those small radios do play music. I think. Only in certain instances, maybe?
Yeah, it's like... Well, easy listening shit if I remember right.
Wouldn't it be more expensive to have a porta potty out there?
Not really.
I mean, you have to pay somebody else to come out here and, well, go out there and deal with it. And you've got a ranger outpost right there.
Welcome back to KBF FM. Hope you enjoyed that too.
The
Now,
working
Doc,
stove
you were
and
talking about
electricity.
finding that special something.
Well, the electricity is from a
Well, you were talking about that.
quote-unquote portable
I was
generator.
saying, I don't-
The stove is, well, with burning stove,
Because I always paint you
and
as a hopeless romantic.
they're not going to run
You got me there.
plumbing out here for a toilet.
That's where you look for it.
I mean, I would.
You need to do a lot of
It's in the middle of nowhere.
But it's a ranger station. You have to sit out there for fucking hours. God knows when somebody would actually come out there to clean out the porta potty, even if you contract it out to somebody.
Isn't that depressing? Or heck, child
Well,
labor?
I'm guessing it
Plenty of fish in the sea.
takes however
Apparently, a fisherman
long
has
they
fishing in
tell
the
them to
for
take.
everything, but what you're saying, isn't that a little harsh? Well, no.
Think about any
What I'm
company
saying is that your potential
getting around to something like that doesn't really have any real effect on anybody beyond the people who have to deal with it.
Yeah, well, I guess that's a nice thought, but
If you worked at a ranger station, would you tell your boss, "Hey, porta potty out the outpost is full"? What do you think he would do?
exactly, but
Well, presumably he would call to get it dealt with.
what I felt for someone, because
But how quickly would he do it? He doesn't have to go out the outpost.
Well, if he's any kind of boss, which, you know,
maybe I didn't put in the work
I know you work in a completely and utterly shithole
a long time ago.
work environment.
That's like the average work environment, though, really.
I'm not saying I dwell on her or haven't moved on. I like my life. I'm not living in the past.
But
Point being, I'm sure that these people's bosses are not your bosses.
maybe.
I had kind of a scary experience last night.
I mean, alternatively, like,
It's shaken a few
middle of fucking nowhere, the company they contract out to would also drag their feet on it.
Well, not if that company wants to stay in business.
I don't know. We've gone through like 3 different floor cleaners. I mean, they're good at their jobs, but we just burn through them apparently.
I'm sure they just hire it out to the lowest bidder.
Still, I'd probably want an actual bathroom rather than a porta potty, just for like that would for me that would show how much your boss likes you. Fuck you, car.
It would probably cost like $1 million to run plumbing out to that thing.
Eh,
I was
there's
supposed to meet the kidnapper
there's
at
the
noon in
mine.
the main building.
Well,
The coal mine was quiet. It was a museum now.
the coal mine, I guess.
I really don't know how this is set up.
Hey, we can read something. While lucrative at first, the mining steadily declined in the 20th century. The seams were rich, but hard to get at, and the volcanic activity in the area made the mine shafts particularly dangerous.
I would say so.
I mean, there's definitely got to be plumbing out here. At least, because, I mean, the mine's right there. In 1970, a volcanic eruption below Cauldron Lake, while relatively minor, caused most of the deep mining tunnels to collapse or flood. 32 miners lost their lives in the calamity, and all mining around Bright Falls came to a final stop. Now, many of the remaining buildings are protected by historical landmarks. Sorry.
Yeah, I do find it interesting you can actually read the sign on the building. Like, you don't have to stop and examine it to bring up the text. You can actually just read it off the side of the building.
And enemies will attack you while you're doing so if they're running around. So be careful about that.
The new sun turned the place into a sauna.
I love it. It was a minor eruption, but it collapsed most of the mine.
Well, it causes earthquakes.
Or the different horrible things.
Only minor.
I imagined her dead. I had no way of knowing she was still alive. It was killing me.
What'd that chair ever do to you, Alan?
On blind hope. It was all a waste of time. The bastard never showed up.
I don't know, at this point I'd probably be like resenting my wife a little bit.
Oh, right, because it's totally her fault.
Well, I mean, that's how human feelings work. You can't tell me that in this kind of situation you wouldn't be like, God, I'm kind of irritated with my wife a little bit.
No, I probably would not be irritated at my wife if somebody kidnapped her and held her hostage.
Well, remember that the whole situation kind of started with Alice bringing him out here in the first place. After talking to douchebag doctor, who got punched earlier in the story.
I'm gonna kill him. I had to get to Mirror Peak.
So, I mean, in part, it's Alice's fault.
Right, and I'm sure the first thing Alan's gonna say to her is, I told you shouldn't have brought me out here.
I mean, I would. After all this, I think I'd be entitled to that.
Maybe closer than ever before.
And the game does not tell you, hey, you can jump over that chain there. Because you can't jump over fucking anything else in the game.
Yeah, it seems an odd thing to suddenly,
Throw at you.
to suddenly throw at you with no indication.
I mean, I suppose alternatively, it's just like, honey, I know you wanted to help me, but you're really kind of fucked up on this one. I mean, in all seriousness, this is kind of suspicious, though. Yeah, I've talked to this doctor who runs a clinic way out in the middle of the fucking mountains in the Midwest or Pennsylvania or something. I'd be kind of like, what's wrong with talking to somebody here in New York? That guy just like, nah. Wasn't close enough to that. Well, actually, I suppose that would be bright, but would it be the same kind of light as a flashlight?
I don't think it would be as bright.
What's that probably full of? Like, what's that word? It starts with an A.
What?
Those tanks, the equivalent of red barrels. What's that flammable liquid or gas that starts with an A again?
Acetylene?
Yes, that. I don't think those are acetylene tags. Instead of throwing a spanner in the works is thrown at you.
I didn't know we were in Soviet Russia.
But I mean, what would be in those tanks? For a mine, anyway.
I don't know.
I suppose it could be acetylene then. isn't it a gas? Like
Yes, it's a gas.
like actual, I mean fuel gas, not gas. That brief moment of panic of where the fuck is it? But it's in the train. Seems kind of a dick move on the game's part to put it in there, but anyway, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say it could be welding gas, but
Is that its primary use?
that's the use I know of.
Nope. I sit here where it's safe. And shit is not being thrown at me.
You know, that's a nice use of a flare right there. That's...
Lick my balls, poltergeist. Ghost blowjob, woo!
Ha.
It'll probably actually be kind of terrible. Great, perfect. Now I'm covered in ectoplasm. Also, that's terribly cold. I'm gonna guess that ghosts are not exactly the warmest thing around.
Probably not, no.
The only way to reach the hillside ahead was to go through the building. I had to find a way to avoid electrocution.
Maybe don't get electrocuted. How did that truck get there?
I'm going to guess the darkness threw it there.
Or drove it?
Or drove it.
I mean, it's clearly crashed in a way that suggests it was driven. I mean, I thought it looked like that. I want to say that Jeep is made of, like, weak shit, but it's a Jeep, so... Probably is. Because don't Jeeps flip over at the drop of a hat?
Yes, they're very top-heavy.
No, fuck you. Fuck
That
off.
was pretty freaking close there, bud.
I'm glad the flashbangs are also gonna explode on contact, too.
Yeah, that's nice. It makes them a lot more useful.
Even though there's theoretically no reason that they would. Put the flare gun away. I think I would just climb the fence.
It's an electric fence.
Well, I mean, the part that's being electrified got knocked over.
It's an electric fence.
Well, I mean, there's a power line hitting it, which is why it's electrified. Not an actual electric fence.
Okay, well, it's still touching the part that's the power line is against is still touching the rest of it.
Is it?
Yes.
It kind of looked like it was a little bit ways away from it still. Nailed it.
Nice. This is like the first big open area in this game. Like the whole game so far.
Remedy, like, finally we can throw a bunch of guys at you. But Alex, you might be asking, why did you stay and fight? Because fuck you, I've got the bloodlust, that's why.
Right, you don't actually have to kill all these guys, do you?
Yeah, I literally could just run past the fence and up the stairs.
Well, that parted my hair. If you want to play rough, I can sure oblige you.
See, it kind of looks like that other part of the fence is. It's like it's a fence, but it's not. I'm trying to think of how to describe it. It's like fence segments.
Well, yeah, the power line, or the power pole, rather, landed on the gate, but the gate is still, like, touching the rest of the fence.
It kind of looked like there was a gap between it and the corner part.
If it's touching anywhere at all, then there's current going through the rest of the fence. I mean, if it's close enough, it could be arcing. I mean, obviously, it wasn't arcing visually, but
That one last take, and hey guys, what's going on in this thread? Oh no! Don't forget your lunchbox. Alan with the straightest, most deadpan expression, but my wife was kidnapped. Taken just like, I see what you did there. Nice. Not suspicious at all.
no, of course not.
Definitely not guys coming in here.
Not a chance. Oh, nice airtime.
Seems like it'd be a bad idea to do that too, because wouldn't the shrapnel be a problem?
Yeah, the shrapnel plus this whole place is one big giant tinderbox.
Yeah.
Trust no one in the dark. Does that mean I can't trust myself?
Cloud, don't let the don't let the goodness pee in your veins. Oh no, it's Sephiroth. Yeah, I'm Sephiroth, but I'm also Solid Snake. Old vintage internet.
Right. What was with that armchair back there?
Maybe somebody just wanted to be really comfortable.
It's kind of freaky. Like, it's like one of those things in The Evil Within that just stands out because it's so out of place.
I feel like that would be me, like, facing the other direction as a tree falls beside me and kind of looking back like, oh. But I imagine a tree falling is actually a lot louder than that.
Yeah, there's a lot of wood cracking and stuff.
You would think that something would attack you right now, but nothing does. You built my expectations and dashed them marvelously. Well played, sir.
There was no way the flashbang grenades were standard power company equipment.
Yeah, it's a good play right there. The game really messing with your expectations.
Like Silent Hill Downpour did the entire game. Just by virtue of having you open a door manually. Every single door.
And you think, this time something is going to attack me when I open the door. And it never does.
Yep, nothing ever happened. I was actually a little mad by the end of the game. I spent the entire game psyching myself out.
It's really an awesome design choice.
It is, but still kind of irritating. Learn to aim, Alex. Fuck off.
You see, that was one of the good things about Dead Space, the original one. I mean, yeah, it had jump scares, but then it tricked you because it trained you to expect the jump scares, especially when they never came.
I don't know, it feels like after like a little bit they just said, you know, you're not actually going to be scared of this anymore because you know what to expect anyway.
Yeah, and then they screw with your expectations, and it works wonderfully.
Not a single encounter inside a vent. The one place where everybody would expect it, but no.
Yes, and they even have an enemy, like scamper off ahead of you into a vent. And it's just like every time you go into a vent in that game, it's just like, oh god, what's going to attack me?
Oh, well, that's the benefit of using manual control for making you go through vents or open doors. Probably actually be more effective if you had something attack the player at least once, because then they would be on edge the entire game.
It actually reminds me of something the opposite that happened in Metroid Prime 3. At one point, you're on the pirate homeworld, and you have the power grip in that game. So when you climb up a ledge, it shows a little cutscene. The camera shifts behind Samus and shows her climb up the ledge. Now, at one point in the pirate homeworld, you find such a ledge. The camera cuts back, shows Samus climbing up it, and then the cutscene continues playing. She looks over her shoulder back to where she came from, and then a pirate just comes out of nowhere and fucking blindsides her, decks her in the face.
Surprise, cockpig! Anyway, next time on Radical Bromance, more light.
Light!